app developer and mentor. You're getting some valuable time with Bilal today. He has worked in educational technology for 17 years and counting. Is the founder of the IT Varsity. It's an institute that assists youth or anybody in the technology field, in the IT field, and he's doing amazing work there. And I think probably his biggest diploma comes in raising 3 aspiring entrepreneurs. Bilal, Jazakallah khair. Over to you. Topic is visionary parent. Yeah. 15-ish, you can go over and you can take questions if you want as well. Okay.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So, when you look at the books of Hadith, you'll find that. Sorry, we good? Okay. Thank you so much. Shall I start? Khalid, shall I start? Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I want to direct what I'm saying here today to parents, and particularly to parents of younger children. And I want to start by asking you a question. All these children that are playing around here, beautiful children, playing on the grounds, participating in the sporting events, going to our schools. My question to you is, what is your vision for your child? You know, like with everything else in life, it starts with a vision. You want to start a business, you need to have a vision. You want to set out in your career, you need to have a vision. So my question to parents, to all you parents out here today, is what is your vision for your child? Now, if your vision looks something like this, that my child is going to grow up and then she's going to go to school, primary school, I'm going to give her the best schooling that she can possibly get, and then she's going to go to university, and then she's going to qualify, she's going to get a job, start a business, have a family, and she'll be successful. If that's what your vision for your child looks like, then I must tell you something, that as a Muslim parent, you are grossly undervaluing the power and capability of your child. Because the Prophet ﷺ said something, and one day I think he just wanted to brag about his Sahaba. The Prophet ﷺ wasn't a braggy type of person. He never bragged, but there were times when he was so proud of his Sahaba, and he said something very interesting that should resonate with every parent. He said, my Sahaba are like stars. Ashabi kan nujum. My Sahaba are like stars. Any one of them, whichever one of them you follow, you'll be rightly guided. So what is he saying here? He's saying that every single Sahabi, every single companion of the Prophet ﷺ is a leader in his or her own right. And he didn't make a distinction between male and female Sahaba. He didn't make a distinction between senior and junior Sahaba, or between the Makki Sahaba or the Madani Sahaba. No, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam put a blanket statement about his Sahaba. My Sahaba are like stars. Whichever one you follow, you will be rightly guided. So what is he saying? He's saying, I'm a leader and I produced leaders. Every one of my companions became leaders. Now, reflecting on that, reflecting on what the Prophet ﷺ said, are we making our children into stars? You see, the reason I'm asking you this is because we are currently facing a problem in this world. And the problem, that the manifestation of the problem, is what we are seeing in Palestine. It's not the root cause of the problem, it's the manifestation of the problem. So there's a cancerous growth in the Middle East, right? And that cancerous growth is causing all of this harm, all of this damage here. But what is the root cause? Where is the root? What is causing this symptom? When you go to the doctor, you don't want the doctor just to cure the symptoms. You want the doctor to uproot the illness itself. So what is the root cause of the problems, the socio-economic problems in the world? I mean, wherever you look, there's zulm, oppression. Palestine is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much going on in every other part of the world. When you look at the poorer countries, you look at the exploitation, you look at the oppression, you look at racism, massacres, genocide. All of these things are happening around the world. Why? Simple. And I'll use an analogy to explain why this is happening. Let's say you want to grow a vegetable garden, right? And you want to grow beautiful vegetables which you're gonna consume. You and your family are gonna eat. It's gonna be on the dinner table. You're gonna enjoy that. But if you leave that garden, you neglect that garden, what's gonna happen? The weeds are gonna overtake your garden. They're gonna overgrow your vegetables, and they are eventually going to cause your vegetable plants to wither and possibly die. Why? Because the weeds just do what they do. They just grow wild. When there's no care given to a garden, then the weeds take over. Chaos takes over. Now, this is the analogy of this world, right? If you look at the situation in the West, Western civilization has been allowed to do what they wanted to do for the past good few hundred years, ever since the revival of Western civilization, ever since the Renaissance. They've been on the up and up. But it's not that they have done anything great. It's this. The problem is that they are like the weeds that were allowed to grow, because the true leadership of this world, which was handed to us by our Creator, by Allah Ta'ala, we neglected that. And because we neglected that, the weeds were allowed to take over. Today, we got these problems all over. When you look at the Western values, the very value set, you look at Western capitalism, democracy, you look at the hypocrisy in all of that, and you will understand that this is not a civilization that's going to last. It's a civilization that's already floundering. I mean, look at the chaos that's happening in France with the Olympics and all the controversy that's happening there. These are signs of a civilization that's about to collapse. Now, the question remains that when one civilization collapses, who takes over? There has to be leadership. That's how this planet is. That's how the human race is. If there is no proper leader, there's going to be improper leaders. If there are no good leaders, there are going to be bad leaders. And that's exactly what happened hundreds of years ago, after the great people like Salahuddin Ayyubi all passed away, after the Turkish leaders left this world. We were left without leadership. Why? Because now I come back to my original question to you. What is your vision for your child? So little Abdullah, who's maybe running around 3 years old, or little Aisha, who's running around 2.5, 2 years old. Parent, let me ask you, what is your vision for her? Do you have a vision greater than just she's going to go and get educated and go and earn a halal rizq? Is that it? Is that what her life is all about as a Muslim? Or is she going to follow in the footsteps of the Sahaba, and is she and he are going to become leaders that are going to provide leadership when the status quo collapses? When the status quo collapses, it's already happening. The signs are all out there. You look at Western civilization, British Empire came and went, disintegrated. Look at the problems in Britain right now. Look at the mighty British Empire. Where is it? The empire that the sun never sets on, gone, disintegrated, finished. Look at the European Empire, gone, disintegrated, finished. Now there's the American Empire, already on shaky legs. When that one falls, who's going to provide leadership to this world? I'll tell you who. It's going to be little Aisha and little Abdullah. And if they are not there, then we are in very, very, very serious trouble. Because where there's a lack of leadership, that's when the weeds come up. That's when the corrupt come up. That's when the self-centered people come up, and they are going to seize what is truly the right of the Muslims. Because whenever we saw that there was strong Muslim leadership, they just walked over all the corruption. I mean, study the life of Salahuddin Ayyubi and see, just by giving leadership to the Ummah, how much he achieved. So don't underestimate. My appeal to parents, to you parents, is don't underestimate the value of your children. Have a vision for them that my child is going to be a leader in whichever field that she's going to go into. Listen, let me tell you something, right? Ever since I started putting out talks on social media, on TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, there are so many non-Muslim people from all over the world coming up and saying, we need leadership. I met a youngster there last week, a brilliant, almost like this genius, 200 IQ youngster. He said, a non-Muslim youngster, he said to me something very touching. He said, I saw your videos, and I want you to be my mentor. I want you to be my father figure, my mentor in everything I do. Today, I met another youngster, non-Muslim youngster, saying, there's nothing great about what I'm doing. I'm just giving these people business leadership, because that's what I know, technology and business leadership. Now, in every sphere of life, in every sphere that we can possibly imagine, there are opportunities for us to give the world leadership. And when we give the world leadership, when we take back the influence, when we take back what is rightfully ours, and we guide the world, we say, this is wrong. What is happening here is wrong. What is happening in Palestine is wrong. People will listen. But when you are insignificant, nobody listens to you. When you are downtrodden, unfortunately, it might sound harsh, but that's just the way of the world. Nobody wants to listen to you. But when you are in the position, when you're in a position of leadership, when you're in a position of influence, then people look up to you as a leader. When you become the star that the Prophet ﷺ envisioned for you to be, that's when the world will look up to you for leadership. Today, unfortunately, and this is a sad plight of our ummah, we're looking for other people to solve our problems. Isn't that a fact? We are looking for other people to try and solve our problems. But trust me, those problems are not going to be solved by the USA or by Europe. These problems are going to be solved by us as a Muslim community. So my ultimate and humble appeal to parents, wherever you are, Muslim parents, whichever part of the world you are in, have a vision for your child and grow up that child in your home with the vision that my child is not just going to be mundane because she's a Muslim. She cannot be mundane. He cannot be mundane. A Muslim just cannot be mundane. You can't, you're a Muslim. Don't put on sheep's clothing. Accept your status. Allah Ta'ala has given you the status. Kuntum khayra ummah. You are the best of ummah. You've been brought out to give leadership to the world. So whatever your sphere of life, whether you are in business, technology, education, politics, finance, sports, be a leader, be an influencer, be a person, a guiding light and a star for others, so that when they look for leadership, and trust me when I tell you, I lecture at universities also. When you look at the plight of these people, this life of freedom, this life of promiscuity, it's all caught up with them now. There's deep dissatisfaction, there's depression, there's drug abuse. That's the main, one of the main reasons why European culture is just collapsing. The only thing that's keeping the European countries going is the immigrants. As much as the politicians try to blame them for their problems, they are actually propping up the European economies. As far as the Europeans themselves, they've lived a life of debauchery, and they've lived a life of freedom and promiscuity, and now they are looking for leadership. They've come to realize that this is definitely not the way. We need something else. And what is that something else they're going to need? They're going to need Islam. They're going to need guidance. And it's us, every single Muslim, not the ulama, not just the ulama. We generally think that the ulama are going to provide leadership, but that's not what the Prophet ﷺ said. He said, Ashabi kan nujum, my Sahaba. He didn't say the ulama of my Sahaba. He said, my Sahaba are like stars. Every single ummati of the Prophet ﷺ, every single Muslim is a potential star in the making. So, first and foremost, in conclusion, do not underestimate yourself. Do not underestimate your power as a Muslim, firstly. And secondly, do not underestimate these little children. Bring them up with that in mind, that that little child is going to grow up and be a leader to the community, will be a leader, global leader, an influencer, a person who's going to show people what is the right way. And that is our legacy as Muslims, as ummatis of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's the only way this white is going to become green again, inshallah. May Allah Ta'ala guide us one and all. Shall I take questions? Anybody got any questions? I'll be happy to answer. Okay, doesn't seem like there's any questions. Bas.